Lord, we continue to silence ourselves before you. Speak to us. The Holy Spirit, inspire and challenge us to be faithful and persevering coaches and mentors. As the lips of your messenger and touch the hearts of your children gathered. In your name we pray. Amen. Friends, as United Methodists, it is in our DNA. It runs in our blood as United Methodists to always look at the bigger picture, to always look around and take part, involve ourselves in the affairs of our society. Taking part in active stance in our society is nothing new for us, I would like to say, because John Wesley, the founder of Methodism worldwide, set an example for us. And he had a good role modeling, my dear friends, combining personal and social piety. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? United Methodism, I believe, flourished somewhere in England, United States, North America, and is known, my dear friends, to be a denomination involved in many aspects of the nation, in many aspects of the society. You know, for 4 years as a director of GBGM, or one of the board members with GBGM and UMCOR under GBGM, we would always say, when calamity strikes, you see the cross and flame. When calamity strikes, the United Methodists arrive even faster than the Red Cross. Aren't you happy? That is how we love our society and how passionate we are to get involved, my dear friends. Now, if they say here in the Philippines right now we have a new president, better than Donald Trump. We have a president who would always say, "Oh, I hate Trump," and would always promise change is coming. Darating na ang mga barya. He wants, my dear friends, a radical change. And at times, my dear friends, this change that he wants would come so quick, so fast, that it may be bloody. I'm not telling anything here. But what I'm saying is, we also want change, right? But we want it to come in such a way that it comes non-violently. It comes, my dear friends, with God's love being incarnated in the world. It comes with people like you and me being engaged with and in love in many aspects of our society. Isn't that what we want? So that when we say the church and society, it's actually the church in the society. The church is spread out in the community. That's what we want. Sometimes we say church against the society, the king against the prophet. Isn't it? So meron laging may laging away yan, no? The king and the prophet. Well, President Duterte has been for some time, my dear friends, working at the Roman Catholic Church against the bishops there. I hope that he will not do the same. United Methodist. That when we act out God's love, my dear friends, and engage ourselves, we see to it that it's love seeking out justice and liberty in the world. Methodists are not just observers. Have you heard a lecturer who said there are three kinds of people? There are three kinds of people. There are those who do things or make things happen. And there are those who just watch things happen. And there are those who ask, what's happening? You know, they don't know the difference between what happened and what will not happen. And what should happen. We are not. We are out there, my dear friends. In my brief conversation with this great man of Church and Society, Brother Neil, he was telling me about how should we move forward in the Philippines right now. After the General Conference and with the new government, how should we move forward? What are our next steps? By the way, if you hear this phrase, what are our next steps? That is a powerful phrase with coaching. Pagka-coaching sabi, what is your next step? What do you want to achieve? That is a powerful coaching phrase. Now, why are we here today? I will not dwell so much, my dear friends, on the social principles, but for the reason that we are here today. You were chosen by our leaders here. Brother Jude has been in communication with me, and you were invited. Praise be to God, you are here. We are here, my dear friends, to seek guidance in our thinking and acting, not only on how we live, the social principles, not only how we engage, but more importantly, to TLTOL. Ano ba yan? TLTOC. Ano ibig kong sabihin? Training leaders to train others to coach. Isn't that wonderful? TLTOC. Training leaders to train others to coach. Because if we look into these beautiful publications, they have been here and we want to revise them. They are here, but the problem that we face is how can we allow this or make this precipitate from the cabinets, from the tables, from the offices, down to every United Methodist. If we talk about the social principles, they may not know about the social principles. If we talk about the social creed, they may not know about the social creed. How should we propagate this? Well, for language, to break the language barriers, we have this in Tagalog. Isn't it? We have this in Tagalog. Thank you to our translators. For the first time, by the way, for the first time at the General Conference, we have Tagalog translators. Palakpakan po natin sila. And this is a very welcome move by the General Conference. Anyway, we translate it. We don't only distribute it, we don't only share it, but we also study them in Sunday schools, in forums or forums, in our discussions. Now comes coaching. Hence, I thought, my dear friends, and thank you, sister, for reading 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1 to 7, but I just want chapter 2, verse 2, when we hear these words. Isn't it wonderful that Paul teaches Timothy, my dear friends, and he says, listen to this, and the things you have heard me say, in the presence of many witnesses, what will you do with them? What will you do? Teach them and trust them to reliable men and women who are qualified to teach others, so that others will also teach others. This is what we want here, isn't it? Whatever we study here, whatever you hear in this room, you will also choose others, men and women, who are qualified to teach others, who will also teach others. Now tell me, what do you call that? Is that just principle of addition? No. It's principle of multiplication. In evangelism explosion, there's this principle. If only there are committed men and women who would like to evangelize the world, the evangelism explosion way, the whole world with the UPGs, unreached people groups, will be evangelized in 72 days. 72 days. Why? From 1 month to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 16, 16. If that goes so fast, this is the principle of 222. Desmond Tutu. How could we do this? Now, I won't speak that long, but I want all of us to think and to act as if we are professional coaches. Tap this shoulder of the person beside you. I want you to be a professional coach. Can you do that? I want you to be a professional coach. I want you to be a professional coach. Yes. Praise God. What are you, my dear friends, if you are a coach? Who are you if you are a coach? Please understand, my dear friends, that the role you will find when you become one to propagate the social principles and the social creed will be so many and so varied. And it will transcend, my dear friends, what we know initially about it. You will be more than an advisor. Please remember, more than an advisor. Like an athlete just advising the team how to play well, more than an advisor. What else? You will also be more than an assessor. You will not just assess the strength of the enemy, but be able, my dear friends, to assess the strengths and the weaknesses of those who will play in your team. What is our assessment now? That the social principles are not widely known or deeply known by every United Methodist. They come to church, they are happy, they are United Methodists, but when we talk about social involvement, you will be more than a counselor. A counselor resolves emotional problems, anxieties of a person, but more than a counselor. You will be more than a demonstrator. Well, I said a while ago, how do we live in such a very challenging society? We don't demonstrate the love of Christ. But more than that, you will encourage, you will motivate others, my dear friends, through these principles, the social principles. And please be a friend. Be a friend. You know what? If you are a friend, what? Then you are not an enemy. If you are a friend, that means that the relational aspect is already solved. Because if you don't solve the relational problem, then the main mission could not be achieved. You remember that? So that we lessen the divide, or we shorten the gap, or if there's a gap, we build a bridge. We become a friend. And you will become more than a facilitator. Facilitating, my dear friends, you know, we identify suitable competitions and that we compete with them. You will also be more than a fact finder. The problems that you know, these are the things that you will be. You will be a fountain of knowledge. You will be a mentor and not tormentor. You will be a motivator. You will be a role model. These are powerful words, right? Role model as a coach and a great supporter. Friends, we buckle down to work. This is the first day of 3 days. And I believe that if we become faithful coaches, we will be able, in a faster pace, let this be known to every United Methodist, and more United Methodists be involved in the affairs of the society. If indeed change is coming, do you want to be part of change? If indeed change is coming in the Philippines, no more drug addicts, no more drug pushers, better traffic systems. You enjoy the traffic here? No more laglag bala, no more. Why? Because they will all die. That's why. we do not want. We want all this to happen by means of sharing the love of Christ, by means of these powerful statements in the pages of these two pamphlets. And we do this on a fast pace. We need to coach many. So that, as I close, whatever you hear these two would say here, sow them in the hearts and the minds of many united members, among the men, the women, and the children and the youth. And that as a powerful and a faithful cause. As Paul said to Timothy, you need to be like an athlete, a farmer, and a soldier. Persevere until the mission is accomplished. Congratulations, my friends. God bless us all. Amen.